On the Next Up Bodybuilding podcast, we have Arianna Kinchen. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
I think
Thanks for having me.
First vet on the show, so thank you for your service as well.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So where are you at now?
Right now I am in an off-season building phase.
Okay. Location-wise, where are you at? You're in Dallas, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Physical-wise, I am in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks. Yeah, once again, thanks for being on the show. Dallas, great city. I'm from a little town called Red Oak. We actually. Do you want to know?
I said okay.
Yeah, so right by Waxahachie. We know each other from IG. People like Sheila, Flexi Brown.
Yes.
If you've ever been to Destination Dallas, you probably know everyone that's gone there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
thanks. Destination once. If you stay there for 2 hours and work out, you meet everyone.
You meet everybody. Yeah. I think I was just there last week and I saw, was it Jay Mackey training and getting ready for the Tampa
Show? Joe's in there. They're training and he's leaning back out. So,
yeah. Man, that's one of my favorite gyms of all time. So yeah, once again, thanks for being on the show and thanks for agreeing to this. We're ready to each other at Destination. We're like, can I have you on the show? And you were like, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, all right, cool.
So I was like, I remember your face from Instagram. Hey.
Yeah, that's me. And then we'll get into the Instagram thing because right now you're under the name Savage Fit Barbie.
Yes.
All right. Now, why'd you choose that? And then why did you move away from the Marine Fit Barbie that everyone knew you as? Even when I went up to you, I was like, you're that Marine girl. And you're like, yeah. And then you had to explain something away.
It was because I initially had the Marine Fit Barbie nickname was something that was given to me.
Okay.
And it was when I was part of the Ultimate Competitor. It was a webisode series with Behind the Pump here with Texas Bodybuilding. And they were going to follow us for 6 weeks up until Southwest USA's, that is this weekend. And during that time, we all kind of got given nicknames because I had never really changed my profile, been that whole influencer type. I was more just like, I'm a mom of 2 boys and this is me and here's my boys and we're cute. And I work out from time to time and play football. Like that was it. So they kind of really introduced me to the whole Instagram flow and being a socialite more of a person.
Yeah.
Besides me having my private friends. So from there, they had me, they said, you're a prior Marine, take pride in that. And you look like a Barbie when you go on stage.
Yeah.
Because for me, I was more of a tomboy. I'm not really too girly. The bikini thing was something new for me. And they were like, when you go on stage, it's like a switch. What is that? They were confused. They were confused because I did a show earlier. We chose to do a show earlier because Lance Schilling was my coach at the time. He decided to go ahead and push me to do a show because my body was tuning in sooner than Southwest USA's. And we did Europa, which was my first show being one of the bigger stages.
Yeah.
So from there, he gave me that nickname. I liked it. I loved it during the time. But for myself and being like 34 years old, from most of my friends, I'm known for not being the girl to wear makeup in the gym. I'm known for the girl that's over there grunting with the guys at the same time, or doing more than some guys sometimes. So, it was something that was pushed on me of course, since Megan Thee Stallion's song came out. It was something about, they say, you're a savage in the gym. You're a savage in the gym. And that started to roll with me in my head. And I'm like, okay, so what can I change this to? I want it to be something meaningful. I just don't want to put blah across the top, and I wanted to be something memorable and catchy, just like the Marine Fit Barbie.
Okay.
It's nothing against me being in the Marine Corps of any sort. It's just that it was a sense of where I felt I wanted to evolve.
Yeah, kind of like growing up.
Yeah, get a little grown up. So I took the name of Savage Fit Barbie, mainly because, like I said, when I work out in the gym, I try not to pay attention to the weight. I try not to pay attention to my injuries that I have. Prior Marine Corps or not, I try not to pay attention to them. I try not to let them hold me back because the more it holds you back, your mental agrees with your body and then your body reflects it. So like you have to make sure you have that mind muscle connection. That's something I learned very early.
Yeah.
So I that's why I went with it. Bit of a savage in the gym, just a bit, just a tad. I'm known for my rack pulls. I can pull 405.
Shit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's a few on the timeline of me doing that. Every so often I get a weird itch and I want to go.
That pre-workout hits a little too.
Yeah. Pre-workout hits. Get a good carb up that day, and then you hit the gym tonight. But no, for me it was something of where I wanted to reinvent myself. The Barbie part was something that always stuck with me. I've always been told that. I'm 5'10". I put on heels. I'm 6'2". Like, I'm in H class in bikini. Like, we're the last ones on stage. Everybody would complain about, we can't get food yet.
You did.
Serious? I'm the last one on the stage.
Yeah.
You can go home now. You can have alcoholic beverage. You're sitting here eating Twix. I can't have none of that just yet. I gotta wait 2 more hours. So it's the Barbie thing was something that also stuck with me. And I just wanted to be different. I'm always that person that likes to, I don't know, stand out, be different, but in a humble way. Not like in a cocky, this is me, you gonna respect me. Nah, that's cute. You respect me, you don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye. Like, I don't beg for it.
Yes, ma'am. So you essentially grew up, right? We were talking about email addresses earlier.
Yes.
You grew up from that stupid Gmail or AOL account you had when you were like 13 and 14. You're like, this is primo. This is going to stick with me for the rest of your life.
Well, this was something that started like in who was I? I was 20. Yeah, 20. When I was in Camp Lejeune. At the time, I was a motorcycle rider.
Okay.
And decided to finally join a club. Myself being from Philadelphia, all the up north music was Rough Riders for the most part. So I decided to join the Rough Riders.
Yeah.
Hence, it's still there. So for me, I was given the name as I was my chapter members. They were all older than me by like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And all of us were in the military. So they kept it really old school, which is how I was raised anyway. Because my mother is 68. So, like, I was raised very conservative.
Yeah.
From coming from a northern family. Like, we're bougie and conservative. That's my whole family in a nutshell. But, like, I'm the only one with tattoos. All of it.
Yeah.
But, I really wanted to take a certain direction, and that's the reason why I chose it. Nice. So, I mean, I wanted to have a sense of family. I've always felt kind of outside because I don't always yearn to people. Like, I wanted to go where I felt cool. Not somebody who wants to do something stupid all the time. Just every once in a while, we can speed up a little bit. We can do wheelies and then go back home safely.
Yeah.
Safely. Not get too crazy.
Yeah.
And then be able to go out as a family and have a good time, like in the club. And then through that, I did their whole 3-month probationary period, and they gave me the nickname Kitten.
Oh.
So Kitten is my Rough Rider nickname, and that's why it says That's why it says RR, Rough Rider Kitten. It was a nickname that was given to me, and it has stuck even. My best friend of 10 years, she actually, her name is actually Quinetta, but her nickname in the Rough Riders when I met her 10 years ago was Queen. Okay. She still has me programmed in her phone as Kitten. She knows my entire government name. She still has me programmed in her phone as Kitten since I met with her in Hawaii. So, I mean, it's something that has stuck.
Yeah.
So, yes, I possibly could be out somewhere randomly, and it would have to be someone way older, like 40 or 50 now, that would say Kitten and would call me that. Otherwise, nobody else knows that name.
Oh, God.
I mean, I've made another email, of course, at this point, but it's one that I've always had. So it's connected to everything over the
Your
past.
iCloud, your Spotify.
Yeah, iCloud. Well, no, Spotify is on a new one, but I mean like this. When my Microsoft account is connected to my Xbox, it's connected to the kids with the Nintendo, and then my original iCloud from this.
Yeah.
So I'm I just never got rid of it. There's so many different things. Even with the VA, I have that email registered. Like,
Change that with the VA.
that's important paperwork. So I'm gonna keep that around for a while. I'm not just gonna delete it and everything else. But yeah, that's the reason why I still have that. Because when I went to go actually download Skype, it told me, said, "Hey, we recognize this email." And I'm like, let me hit forgot password.
Yeah.
And then reset, because I can't even tell you what it is.
I remember that too. That's awesome. All right. So, life lesson: look at your email addresses, change them if need be. And then one thing I wanted to ask, like, what made you want to go into the military, specifically the Marines, right?
Specifically the Marines. My father was a Philadelphia police officer.
Okay.
He also served in the Marine Corps. So for me, he passed away when I was 5.
Okay. Very good.
So for me, it was a sense of a calling. I was always raised strict on a very set schedule with my mother.
Yeah.
Like, it was this time you're up. Like, actually, I can run you through a high school day. I was up at 4:30. I used to do rowing. I was on a river at 5.
Nope.
For 2 hours.
Nope. I'm out.
We would go to school. We would shower. I went to Catholic private school. Put on my uniform.
Yep.
Go through a day of school. After school for an hour, I had orchestra. I was a second chair and first chair violinist for 4 years. And then after that, I would get home, do homework. I was in mostly AP classes, except for chemistry.
That's a tough one.
And then I would do my schoolwork, get in bed by 10:30, and go to sleep and do it all over again. I had no life.
The perfect.
There was none. A, B, point A and point B. And like when I got home, I had to check in, call my mom because she was at work. She was a auditor for the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, so for the state stores. And so I had to call and check in and say, hey, I'm good, I'm home, I'm going to start my homework. I had a lot of responsibility with that because, of course, I had chores, normal. Yeah. But also to keep my grades up, like 89 and above. You got below 89, we had to have a talk. So, for me, I'm like, a talk? What
are we talking about?
What are you talking about? Like, I got an 89.
Yeah.
What's wrong? I didn't get it. Like, when I was in grade school, it was 85.
Okay.
Like, I get an 85 or above. But when I got to high school, she upped it. So it was, about the time I got to senior year, I was out by noon from school.
Oh, dang. That's awesome.
Because I had no afternoon classes. I was done. Like, they had no other classes to force me to take. I was one of those kids where you just got to go home at noon because
you weren't one of the working kids. You had a job. You just took.
My junior year, she did have me get a job.
Okay.
And I worked downtown in Philadelphia, near the Philadelphia Gallery. It's now been closed, but they had a shoe store down there, and I used to just work in the shoe store, just like how DSW has a setup of where they have all the shoes kind of stacked and laid out. It was the same type of thing like that, but it was just a regular shoe store some Italian guy owned, and walked around and helped people try on shoes. Like, that was it. And the most that went to, my money went for that, is for my prom dresses. So I bought my own prom dresses. 3 of them, actually.
You bought 3 prom? What?
3.
How much were these prom dresses?
They were about $200 to $300 a piece, I think.
Okay.
Because we went to a consignment store.
Yeah.
I remember. It's crazy. I remember this. We went to a consignment store. One was navy blue, one was yellow, and I can't remember the other color. But we couldn't decide. And I said to her, well, can we just pick the dresses for this year and next year now? So then next year I can just save my money and put it into my bank account and make that roll over with my stock account.
So pragmatic.
She was like, okay. So we literally sat there. I tried them on, and it was yes, no, through 12 different dresses. And we basically rounded down to 3 that we could agree on. went with that. But no, I think for the Marine Corps, I was set for it. It was something that I respected. It's something that I always wanted to do. And then my mother was fortunate enough to be able to send me to camps over the summer.
Okay.
As I got into rowing, I started to look at specific colleges that had rowing. Now, for me at that time, it made me integrate the thinking of I could go to the Naval Academy and graduate as a Marine and do rowing for 4 years. Because the same river that we were on the Schuylkill River back in Pennsylvania, for the fall time of rowing season, the colleges row on the same day as the high schools. So like University of Penn was the boathouse right next door to ours, and I would see all these different colleges. And they would stand, on the river side, prospectively looking at the varsity heavyweight boats that who's in it. Now for me, being one of the very few select African-American females.
I can only imagine.
I had a coach. He was Irish, Mr. McCormick. He had a nickname for our boat every year that I rode.
All right. Do you remember?
Amongst white rice. And then the other one was when the Uh-Oh Oreo came out. I was the Uh-Oh Oreo. Because I was in an 8-seater boat, and at the first year, my freshman year, I was in the back of the boat towards the end because since I'm tall, my back could cut the wind. So cut the wind around the boat to make it faster.
Okay. I see what you're
So
saying.
they put the powerhouses, the bigger girls, up front. Me in the back, I'm cutting the wind with my whole back. So it made it faster just to cut through the water. But that year, I was like, and then they came out with the Uh-Oh Oreo. He said, "Oh, you in the middle of the boat this year? We got the Uh-Oh Oreo." I was like, oh my God. I love you so much. You're like the uncle I never had. I mean, he was the best man in the world. He was encouraging. He really was like the uncle that was just like, you just got jokes for days, don't you?
We all got some of those.
No, I feel for myself, I was molded for the military. It's something that kind of, even as I, did my own research, went to the recruiting station and talked more with my recruiter, and they're like, "Oh, you're so smart. Why aren't you doing because I got accepted to Howard. They were like, "Why aren't you doing ROTC? Like, why do you want to go straight enlisted?"
Yeah.
And I said, because I want to know if I really want to take this into being a career. Because once you go be an officer, I saw it as the top of the top. Like you're being an officer, you got to lead hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Like that means something that I want to take for the years, not just short term of what I thought at that point. 4 years. I just did 4 years of high school. Let's see if I really want to do 4 years of this.
Yeah.
And then at that point, then I'll go further, because my first year I did apply to the Naval Academy. I did not get in. My second year I applied. I was actually, because each year you have to get a congressional nomination or a senatorial nomination.
Did not know.
And the second time I was in Iraq, and I had to talk to my congressman over the phone. That was fun. Getting a secure sat phone to sit there and
build rapport.
And he's like, and I mean, at that time he told me, he said, you could get into West Point, right? Do you know you could get into West Point? Easy. I said, I know. I don't want to row at West Point. I'm obsessed with going to the Naval Academy at this point. And I was standing in Iraq, and I had to tell him that. And then we actually had to cut the phone call short because we had incoming. So I said, "Sir, I have to cut the call." He was like, "No worries. I know where you are." Click. So, I mean, and it wasn't till that time, then I got in. I found out when I was in Iraq with one of my other good friends, Mariana Sheck, we found out we were going to the academy together.
That's awesome.
So I ended up, I would say for myself, one thing I kind of let go is I ended up leaving on my own accord.
Okay.
It was mainly because I felt like, there's a slight unwritten rule that you are not guaranteed to be a Marine. And
What do you mean
I can deal with that. I just served my country in Iraq.
Yeah.
And got the T-shirt and everything. Like, I didn't just go over there and stay on base. My job was an ammo tech. Within 2 weeks of being there, I was told, "Hey, you two, come here, out of formation. You're going to go be a gunner. You're going to go attach to the motor pool."
Oh, shit.
What? I thought I just came here for 7 months, give people ammo, and then go back home. Like, what's this? So after doing all that and thank goodness surviving,
Yeah.
my biggest issue was I could not mentally separate that.
Okay.
Because there's also underlying fine print for military. If you don't accept commission where they give you, you have to, at that time in 2006 and 7, you had to pay back Uncle Sam 48 grand times 4 for the 40 years you were there.
Wow.
I did not want that debt. One. And two, I was just like, no, I don't want to be in the Navy. I'm seasick. I love y'all.
It's like,
no, that's not my cup of tea. And for me, when I see it as an ending, I don't want to waste my time or the other person's time.
Yeah.
And I remember standing in front of the board at the end of this table because I had my teachers there and then the Navy captain, which was 06. So he's standing at the end of the table. My mom's on the phone call speaker on the table. And he's like, why do you really want to leave? I said, sir, if you cannot guarantee me being in the Marine Corps, I'd rather some other deserving and humble individual, I guess you can say, can take this position and lead our troops in a better way because they will enjoy doing the job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't enjoy putting on the uniform. It would hurt. It would be a pain in my side that stick. And I didn't want to do that, you know? So for me, I know I made the right choice when I went back to the Marine Corps to finish out the rest of my contract. I knew I had made the right choice.
Good for you.
And I've always felt it in my heart. I've never had an issue with it. It's still in me. I still know how to call cadence. Yes. Still know how to do face.
You know what that is.
So like cadence is the person on the side of a platoon that is telling them to go left, right, backwards, forwards, all that. That's the person. That's what cadence is.
Okay. I'm learning a lot.
It's a sing song. It's a sing song.
All right, we're going to hear you on one of these days.
Oh, jeez.
So
maybe we'll do that at the end.
Yeah, we'll save it for the end. So how'd you go from, shooting guns to put it on a bikini in front of hundreds of people?
This fine story. One of my friends, Mike Mitchell, I had met him when I was working out one time at the formerly called Extreme Iron. It's now called Precision Fitness.
Okay.
I had seen him in there, met him, just kind of collaborated about the whole thing.
Yeah.
He said, hey, sis, you just working out in here? I said, yeah, I'm just trying to see the gym. It was a gym that was told to me, say, you might want to visit it. You'll see other pros besides just in destination. Okay, cool. Well, he said, my boy Lance is doing this thing with Behind the Pump and the Ultimate Competitor. You might want to try out. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have no experience with this. Like, I just started. I'm still building. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Thrown into it, sailed.
Gotcha.
Because I was selected as one of the couple of hundred of people that actually came to the gym to apply. Because we had in-person interviews with Lance and a couple of other guys.
Okay.
Of the pros.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's how that happened. I was kind of, I guess you can say, slingshotted into it.
Yeah.
Initially, my issue after I left the Marine Corps was after second time becoming pregnant with my son, the stretch marks show and my body kind of dwindled. I did go through a divorce. It's kind of a painful one. So that sent me down to 119 pounds.
That's what, 5'9" you said, or 5'10"?
About 5'9" 3/4. So put sneakers on. I'm 5'10".
Not much.
I was 119 pounds.
Yeah.
So, and I still have pictures of it because it was the first initial check-in photos where I'm, standing with my arms down and a back in front. And when I looked at myself and it clicked to me shortly thereafter, I was a size 0 in Ross. And I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
This is not right. This is not me. I was 130 pounds when I was in the Marine Corps, or 145 actually. And I'm like, I used to work out and lift weights, or we were slinging tires, picking up ammo, filling sandbags, something. But I wasn't doing this. I was running 3 miles. I could run 3 miles in 21 minutes. Are you serious? Yeah,
I've never ran 3 miles. I've come close to 3, but never 3.
So you know, I didn't like the reflection in the mirror. So
Yeah.
it took a trigger moment to change it. From there, I had one coach, and then I kind of broke it off with him because I didn't like the regiment that I was being given. Certain protocols were changing things, so I was just like, hey, I don't think this is a good fit for me. So once I met up with Mike, he threw me into the whole ultimate competitor thing with Lance, which was the blast, because I learned everything at a very quick pace.
Okay.
And then it was, hey, you have to be in a swimsuit. Excuse me.
You didn't know that?
Excuse me. What? That's not a swimsuit. That's a thong. What is that? So I had to attempt to become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes, ma'am.
I was the girl that was still wearing one-piece bathing suits to the pool. So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Putting me in, and I'm like, well, wait. They're like, yeah, the rhinestones are like this small, and I'm like, what? Where's the rest of it? Like, what? You know, I would show you my old red suit, but one of my friends, Christina, she's actually going to be wearing it because I don't fit it really anymore because of moving now up to figure, but she's going to be wearing it at North American. So
nice.
I saw her suit she was initially had on stage, and I said, hey, you have to have the full glitz, you know, full rhinestone. You can't have half the rhinestones. The amateur level, NPC level, yeah, you can do that. But once you go to the national level, NPC level, you have to have full stoned out, you know, on point.
Yeah.
Period.
You look different.
So I learned that fortunately by meeting Sheila Brown. That's why I say the Ultimate Competitor series was a blast.
Sure.
It exposed me to meeting a lot of people. I met Sheila Brown, and ever since then, she's been like good old auntie who is always there.
Yep. I've seen plenty of check-ins to her. My wife posed with her.
Anytime I've ever had a show, I put on the suit. Because I'm one of those cheap ones. I know how to do my makeup because my best friend kind of taught me angles and whatnot, since she's the pro at it.
Yeah.
You know, she's the professional, so she kind of molded me into that and said, hey, no, you got to go full glam. And I'm like, oh, God, what do I need to buy? I gotta buy like $100 worth of stuff? Are we serious? I'm going into Ulta and I'm coming out with a bag. What is this?
Yeah.
So that was an adjustment for me being a tomboy. And then getting with Sheila, funny enough, I just watched one of the videos. I was stiff. I'm used to doing fencing movements. This thing where we're rolling your arm and just, you know, fake smile, like, look at me, and here's my shoulders, and I'm like, what? Who? What? Why? What are we?
What are we doing here?
What are we doing right now? Like, who am I faking this to? So she said, no, sass, smile, and sass. You want to own the stage.
Yeah.
And I think if I had never met her, I would not be this far. I can flatly lay it out. Because for me, I'm the type of person who's slightly a perfectionist in things when I take on a hobby or a task. So I wanted to get it. And then my other biggest thing was leading up into the competition of Europa. People kind of told me, hey, you know, I heard the words being said behind my back, basically. And it was, I don't think she's got it. Or she has the muscularity.
Okay.
She does not have the posing.
Oh.
And for the bikini part of it, we bring muscularity with pose, or slight muscularity with posing together.
You gotta have the posing.
It's not front, side, back, front. Like, it's not that. It's a whole lot of twisting and turning and whatnot. So for me, it was something I had to adjust to. I'm not girly. Again, I'm very much tomboy. Look, I have broken nails. Like, we talk about nail on, nail off. Like, I recently have started to become better, but, you know, with encouragement. But I still, you know, will go change a tire and break a nail and be all right with it. Like, I'll get it fixed later. So I can say I owe a lot to Miss Flexi.
Oh yeah, we all
A
do.
lot. Because she coached and molded me every single time. Actually, last year I competed at USA's in Vegas.
Okay.
I did the amateur thing and mind blocked when I got on stage. I was in first call outs and I forgot my number. And the sixth time that they called the number, I actually looked down and said, yeah, an expletive, and then walked on stage. So I ended up staying on the end at that point.
Yeah.
Ended up, top 6, but it's not where I was one of the first 3 numbers called out.
Yeah, you could have ended up in the box very easily. Yeah.
Reflections. That's half the battle. So,
It's bodybuilding.
I will never forget my number ever again, though. My friends always tell me when I had the next 2 shows, they were like, what's your number? Funny. Jokes. Y'all got jokes. Okay, I know it. It's right here. See it? See it? They said, do you see it, though? Do you got it up here? Because actually, the first thing I did was leave stage. And I said to her, I'm an effing idiot. And I had the crying face. He said, I wanted to slap you with the laughing emoji. I'll never forget it. She was the first person I texted. Because I knew either she was watching or she was there.
Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Yep.
I was crying backstage. I was a horrible mess. JM, Mr. Mannion, was like, he's seen me before because from going to national shows, and he's like, stop, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. I'm like, no, I just lost my pro card probably. But, it's bodybuilding is a learning experience just like anything else in life. So,
yes, ma'am.
So
you're transitioning now from bikini stepping on up to senior.
Yes. Okay, so Sheila has always told me it's been a thing. My back is an issue. And I think it's mainly from being in the military, always lifting and like tires, ammo. And then Marine Corps also pull-ups, push-ups. That's everything. Prior to that, I was rowing, which is arms, back, and legs. So my back has always been like the strongest part of me. My arms have always been the smallest part of me.
Okay.
During my first year, after I went to North Americans and got second, Sandy told me be careful with my legs. And you can even see it in my stage photos. I did the original front pose where you were, it was now the wellness pose.
Oh, okay. We're talking about.
But with the front leg out front, my leg was showing a V cut in my thigh.
Oh.
So she was like, be careful. And that's why they put me in second. I was a little bit of that. My hamstrings, like your hamstrings are too strong. Go lay down. Sorry, my puppy. He's over here sniffing the bottom of the ring light trying to bite it.
Oh.
And my legs, they became muscular after starting to lift. It's like my legs got this jolt feeling of, oh, hi, we're here. Let's go. I like the weight, Another one of my things, I'm known for doing a 9-plate leg press. Yeah. I don't know what was running through my system that day. Yeah. At the time when I was with the Ultimate Competitor, we had Line 1 Nutrition. That was actually, we were all sponsored athletes with them.
Oh, Line 1?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those guys. They sponsored us.
Yeah, Dean is great. He gave us anything we needed. He was like, hey, whatever you need, text me. I will have it shipped to you. It arrives like in 2 days because they're right down there. So right here in Dallas. So it's really cool. But yeah, at that time, Sandy said to me directly, she said, because you go after the show, and she said, hey, you're a little too much. Like, lay off. She's like, your legs aren't like big. She's like, it's just the she's like, you need to be softer, just a tad. And then my back was always a thing with Sheila because she knows I naturally have short hair, but the wigs and the weaves we can all wear. And I would purposely have her ask me so my stylist would style my hair and cut it in a specific V in my back. So it landed at the right point that it wasn't beyond the bottom of the suit, so it didn't cover the glutes, but it wasn't showing my back.
Covered everything up.
Because the thing is, she's like, if you don't flip your hair and make sure you cover it. She said they're gonna mark you off because your back is not supposed to be that muscular.
Yeah.
So with lift, I like to lift heavy naturally anyway.
Okay.
And after the first year, I was being coached with Daniel Sullivan shortly after Behind the Pump when that series ended. And we went to North Americans, got second. We went to Amateur Olympia, got second. And it was the same thing back to back of Sandy saying, hey, it's too defined. Okay. And so when I wasn't able to do Miami, I ended up saying, Daniel, what now? What are we doing? Like, what? Because I'm like, what's next? I was so used to, rolling show to show to show. I'm like, okay, so what are we doing? He said, you know what? Why don't we try for figure? So we ended up changing my diet completely. And then gaining within a month and a half to then do Sheila's show being Battle of Texas.
Oh, this is last year, right?
Not this last year, the year before.
Year before, okay.
So we put in for novice because, of course, I've never competed in figure.
Yeah.
And I put it in open just to see, what the judges' feedback, because you never know till you go up there. And I gained in my legs, but I never learned how to do the lat spread. So I ended up tucking my arms in like this and didn't know how to do it. I was like clenching my arms.
Oh, you were doing wellness before wellness existed.
So, I even worked with Ray Baker because he's right there in Destination. Yeah. And I was like, Ray, help me. And we had to pluck my muscle to get that connection.
Yeah.
But when I hit that stage, it didn't happen. So I got first in novice because I was muscular and toned.
Yeah.
And I got second in open or third in open because I didn't know how to just
do that.
That's one simple move. Just one. So, it was a bit challenging, but it was eye-opening experience to say like, oh yeah, you can do figure. So now last year, forgot my number, then got 7th placement at North Americans. Then I go to Miami last year and I got, I think 11th or 12th.
Okay.
And my feedback, I even asked Becky Clausen as well as Sandy, so what is it now? And the issue was basically my legs went back up after USA's. They got thicker. Because I was training my same heaviness. That's my issue. I kept trying to confine myself to the bikini box when my body wanted to do otherwise. Like I was doing 45 minutes cardio. And in 25 minutes after my workout.
Oh, no, that's way
I wanted to cry.
Every day.
Every day. Every single day.
Yeah.
So, trying to fit myself into this box every single time, even though I was that close to getting my pro card each time, it was great. But I'm like, you know what? I like to eat too. Tilapia and rice is not always with some asparagus. There were 4 shears of asparagus, 4 pieces is not always like the most yummiest thing ever in the world. It's yummy, but
I eat it like every day, so I understand.
When you're cutting, great, but just for me, it was more of a thing where I would follow my diet to a T.
Yeah.
Like people always ask me, oh, are you taking this? Are you taking that? I say, look, I'm using line 1 products.
Yeah, and food.
I would sometimes add in wine.
It helps you dry out like the day
before. But also add in a Jack and Coke every once in a while. So, it was a thing of, hey, you can cheat. My cheat, people wanted to cheat with a meal. I would cheat by eating pretzels. Like the pretzel snaps. The square pretzel snaps you get from Snyder's, butter snaps you can get from Snyder's in any store. That was my
your cheat
thing to eat. So I just, for me, it was more of a thing of, all right, you're doing this.
Yeah.
You're doing that. Okay, people.
Yeah.
Y'all have fun. So I made the decision after Miami. It was like more of a eye-opening experience. My body checked in a little bit earlier than when I hit the stage. That was another issue that happened for me. I kind of noticed it in between the video I took in the hotel and the video I took backstage to what appeared on the stage.
Gotcha.
Slow progression back. So, all right, fine. Well, from that, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of trying to be in a box.
Yeah.
And that's what brought me to this. I, of course, first text message, God, Mama Sheila. What do you think about, Auntie Sheila, what do you think about me doing that? I think it's a great idea. Okay.
That sounds, yeah. See what
That's
you
all I
said.
need here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I've always heard it from other pros alike. They're like, why? What are you waiting for? You like to train.
Yeah.
Like, you like to train and move some weight.
Do it.
Why do you keep trying to put yourself into this box just because you're that close? Take the time off, build your body to what you need it to be to win on stage. So now I'm being coached with Shane Hughley.
Yeah.
And he is guiding me in every bit of the right direction because I'm at 165.
Pretty good.
I didn't weigh 165 unless I was pregnant. That's the last time I was. But I had both of myself. I was like 163, 161.
Yeah.
This is something different completely for me. He's like, check-ins. He's like, how do you feel? And I'm like, for the first couple of check-ins, at the first couple of weeks when the weight started to come, I was like, we went from like 143, 145, and we started to go in these increments. And I'm like,
jump it up.
6 times a day.
Yep.
Rice. Okay. So it was a difference.
Yeah.
At first, my body tried to fight it, of course. Because it wanted to be like, oh no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I stayed lean. I'm still kind of lean now. But it's been a process, and it's something that I have now started to enjoy.
Okay.
And then the changes of learning the different poses and how to stand and move. I watch all my friends that are in Physique and Classic, and I mainly go to shows just to eye watch. Like, I want to learn to do posing, which I actually have coached a couple of my friends in changing their routines or developing their routines.
Okay.
One of my teammates, even, he's going to be using his routine. It's somewhat of his old one, but there's a different music, so I added a little tweaks. I was like, this is what you're supposed to see here. This is what you're supposed to see there.
Yeah.
So, from standing, you have Destination Dallas, where you're standing there, you have Ray Baker, you have Sheila Brown coming in there. You can literally just sit in a posing session and just
learn.
And that's what I like to do. Because I feel like the more you can understand across the board. Because a lot of posing routines or things from female to male are the same visuals that they want to see. So, that's I guess I could say, an aspiration of mine. But yeah, I like the transition. It's something different. It's something I've always been told I should do. My feedback from Miami was my thighs were too big.
Okay.
From Becky and Sandy. And I was told that I should try for wellness.
Really?
But like I'm a tweener. I'm one of those ones where I can go either way.
Yeah.
And once they finally made the wellness category, that was great. But then at that point, for me, it made it more confusing because it wasn't just A or B. It wasn't just bikini figure.
Yeah.
Now it's bikini wellness figure. So I'm like, where is this snake going? Because Shane, when we started, he was like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, ooh, I'm not good at doing that. Making decisions on the spot, not good at doing it. I was like, what do you think? He was like, you can go either way.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll just stick to going figure, Yeah. So that's where I've stayed.
Cool.
And I like it. I practice often. Still trying to figure out the posing.
Yeah.
For the most part, I've had it. I've had 1 or 2 sessions so far with Sheila. Working on that because I'm just like, you're here and you are a national judge, so you know this. I need your visuals. And then she knows I usually work on it for a couple of months or weeks and then come back to her and say, hey, I need an appointment again.
Yeah.
And then we set it up. So for now, that's really where we're at with it.
Cool. So, getting ready to wrap up. I always like to ask folks, what's next and why do you think you're up next?
What's next in being up next? I am one of the tallest individuals in this sport.
Yeah, you're up there.
There are this many women who are going to transition from what I've seen into being in figure in H class.
Oh.
I've seen few.
Yeah.
So for me, I just have to bring it.
Okay.
Which I've done that before. Because it goes back to all I have to really hear it from is from one person to doubt me.
Yeah.
The one thing that pushed me when I went to Europa and everybody was like, oh, I don't think she's gonna get the posing, but she has the muscularity and blah, 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 blah. One thing I used to always say, the song by OT Genesis, everybody mad. I'ma make everybody
Love it. Oh.
mad. That's my smile.
Okay.
Love you, but no, I'm gonna make you mad. You want to tell me you think that there's something I can't accomplish?
Yeah.
Negative.
Get off that.
That's not how Mama raised me.
Yeah.
Like, no, I so for me it's a goal, and I will take the time, which has been the hardest part for me as a competitor, is to sit still and see everyone competing while I'm building.
Yep.
But for now, it's following the plan, and yes, that's why when Shane decides, all right, we're gonna cut, I think I'm gonna be a problem.
Okay.
I really feel like I'm gonna be a problem.
Till then, enjoy those 6 meals like we talked about, because when
I will definitely try.
When it goes to 5, you're gonna be wishing and begging and pleading.
Oh, Mayla Ash, she's one of the women who has always been behind me, pushing me, saying, I think it's time for you to switch over, sweetie.
Yeah.
Since the beginning. She's like, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for you to come over. So, she told me about that in the gym right now, being a destination. She's like, I don't want to hear you complaining about too much rice.
Yep.
I don't, you know her attitude. She's like, I don't want to hear it. I'm like, well, what? I'm not used to this. My stomach is stuck in bikini.
No, bikini small.
It's like this small. I'm trying to shove it down the throat. Like, like I know, and for shit. Sorry. For me, low battery. For me, I know I chose Shane Hughley because I know what he produces. I've seen what he produced before. So I trust him in his process. Like he goes for taking the whole show.
Yeah.
I want a coach that's there and is always there. I don't have to call them or figure out where they are or say, hey, check in with me once and then go away. No, I want you to be by my side. I have seen him do that.
Yeah.
Being attentive. Like, I don't have to always be like, hey, did you see me checking? No, he's there.
Yeah.
In the ear. Tell me something. If something's wrong, you feel wrong, something didn't go right, what's going on in your life, whatever, talk to me. And it's never a problem. So I've always appreciated that.
Yeah.
And I don't want second. I'm tired of getting second. Like, for me, I saw it even what was it? It was on Melissa's story.
Yeah.
And it was Josh. It was like almost over a year ago. It was Josh Wise, and he was saying to her, do you want first or second?
Yeah.
And I found out that he was actually saying, do you want first or second call-outs, like at nationals?
Oh.
Not first or second place. So for me, I listened to that, and I kind of have repeated that in my head sometimes. I'm like, when you're doing those sets and you just really don't have the energy to, okay, so do you want first or second?
Yeah, you want first.
What do you want? It's up to you.
It definitely is. Yes, ma'am.
Do you want first or second? So it's a push. This is a different endeavor for me, and it's something new. But I feel that when Shane says it's time for go, I think I'm going to be a problem.
Okay.
I really do. I was a problem before.
Right. All right. Before you got to go and eat meal number 5,
before the gym. Before the gym.
Yeah. You got anything you need to plug before we go?
No, that was it for me. I mean, I appreciate even having the opportunity to be on the platform. I appreciate it.
It's no big deal for us. Like, this is what we do. This is why we do it. People like you. No, seriously, we appreciate you being on. Thank you for your service.
No problem.
I don't know if right now I'm supposed to say, like, I don't think you got it, or I'm supposed to encourage you. I don't know what to say.
Either way, for me, I take it in humbly. I really do. I like hearing the negative. Yeah. My mother used to give me constructive criticism, as they call it. I don't mind it. It just fuels me more.
Gotcha. I think you got a great team, and I look forward to seeing you on stage. Like, if you make it to nationals this year, let us know. Live to Miami. So yeah, let us know for sure.
I will do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Before that, end recording. First. Cool. Thank you so much, man.
Boyfriend's kind of mad at me. He couldn't get in the refrigerator. You see that thing behind us?
Oh, yeah. I saw that. So you could have gone.
We got to eat before the gym. We had a protein shake. He woke up for a nap. He only ate like 2 eggs. He's not happy right now.
Hey, my wife's probably the same way. It's like, hurry up and eat.
Look, I saw her go into the fridge and look over like, oh.
He's still talking.
They're still talking. Yeah. I've got the look from over there at the couch. So, yeah, I got to do the same thing, too.
All right. It's a pleasure. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.